I hate to use the word, we're not communist in Harris County. Everybody isn't raised the same. What we try to be is good capitalist in terms of running this county like a business, making great decisions, taking care of people that are out there making a difference.
Precinct 3 Commissioner Tom Ramsey attempting to preemptively persuade Democrats on court against adopting a $73 million across-the-board raise for rank-and-file employees, a salary increase based on a consultant's pay equity study. Ramsey objected to the move in part because the recommendation for raises fails to consider quality of job performance or the county's generous 225% pension match for vested employees. And yet, Democrats led by Commissioner Rodney Ellis were ready to pull the $73 million trigger.
Now we know that the system we have in place has been discriminatory against certain groups, regardless of whether there's legal liability or not. It's just the right thing to do.
I believe so passionately that we need to be paying fairly, competitively, and absolutely equitably, and this is a fairness and justice, just paramount importance.
Panel, that's $73 million more a year, every year, which likely means our 12-month holiday without a county tax hike will likely be short-lived. Agreed, Charles?
We'll see. I mean, you know, I love how they talk about this as though they don't, their staffs in the commissioner's court, not their direct offices, but just the overall staff in which they oversee, they've set the pay for a lot of these folks. So some of these folks who are making less than what they think they should be making, they should have corrected this in the past. But also, you can't really talk about equity when you have folks, the chiefs of staff, who are making hundreds of thousands of dollars. Leslie Broden's given $20,000 bonus to hers last year. And then you want to talk about equity. You can't tell me that your chief of staff works $20,000 harder than the person who's doing front-facing work, dealing with the public every single day. So you know, save the language about equity when it only applies to people that you certainly care about.
As is his habit, Bill King dove actually into the study and read it. Thank goodness somebody did.
One of my daughters is an HR executive, so I had her read it actually. But I also used AI to analyze it very in detail. And first of all, it's not an across the board. It's this very complicated formula which they went in and set up new pay levels and everything. And what Rodney said about that found that there were inequities, that study did not find that. Only 7% of the total raise went for what you would call DEI type increases. It was mostly a rationalization between various levels. It's $43 million this year, $73 million next year, and they had actually put $50 million in this year's budget. It was just approved here, a few weeks ago. That money was in the budget for this, and there's clearly a line item that says that. It looks like to me these, and by the way, almost all the money is for people making less than $75,000 a year. So this is the working folks, and it doesn't look like to me they had a pay raise since September of 2023. So this is a 2-year catch up on inflation. So and by the way, the overall pay raise was about 4.6%. So I don't. My biggest problem with it is that we spent $1.3 million figuring it out. Just hey, over at Baker, we'll do it for much less than that.
Okay, for the ones that they're doing this for, let's be clear. They looked at the amount that they did the equity pay for constables. They did equity pay, for the sheriff's people, and they're like, okay, but we the ones out here doing the hard work and everything. What about us? And so with Bill saying what he said, that's a 4% over 2 years. That's a 2% raise. Y'all good. Y'all good. Y'all can be all right.
Well, yeah, I mean, as Bill made clear, this was baked into the last budget. So basically, when I said Ramsey went back to try to talk them out of doing this, part of the issue was that, everybody got a raise, whether they're a great employee or on the brink of getting fired.
Well, that's how government works, right? It's never merit-based. It's never how good a job you're doing. To quote the late, great Ann Richards, they can't help it. They're just going to find ways to spend your money and not tax you to death, and come out and tax you to death to pay for it. So it's just more of the same.
Quoting a Democrat.
You've heard the conversation here. What do you make of this move?
I knew Ann Richards. You don't sound like
and that's probably a good thing.
I think part of it is it's baked in. Part of it is the optics. I mean, it seems like every time you turn around, Commissioner's Court, somebody's getting a raise because somebody else got a raise, somebody else rolled in, and somebody else. You know, truthfully, from what Bill said, if this is this a catch up over from the last 2 years, you know, and kind of when you go to work for government, you're really kind of figured out that you're not going to be able to keep up with the private sector, nor should government run that to keep up with the private sector. But you know, if it was baked in and they're anticipating it, they should go ahead and do it. The people at the county on those levels work very, very hard, and they're very, very efficient at what they do.
All right, we can talk more about it in overtime. Still to come, a turnkey living center for the homeless gets a green light from Houston City Council. But up next, robbing Peter to pay Paul, or in our case, taking land from Herman Park to expand Ben Taub Hospital.